Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen Hahn around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn 1.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. They've not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, 7 laps of start for
We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport. Cranston and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season. So they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher. Nils Core clips the back at 10. Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Core. They go over the hill and Povey's around. Oh my god, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail when it hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Finish. I think Dennis Melchett has done enough to win the last round of the championship and to win the title all in one fell swoop.
It's a great touring car championship. Things are never chilled here. Honestly, the cars may be a bit dull, but wow, the racing certainly isn't.
Fastest lap of the race now, Ben Lambert.
Look at Andy Fox coming through the middle. He makes a little bit of contact. Dave Waldock is around and he's off on the grass.
Brayfield tries to go right round the outside of Druids. You do not do that and get away with it very often.
Takes the win in round 12. There's contact again. Fraser Smith and Dennis Melchett are off the circuit.
Hello everybody, welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to rounds 11 and 12 in Season 4 of the British Boring Car Championship. I'm a very happy boy this evening because we are at my local. We have come to Oulton Park for what is going to be quite a pivotal round in the championship, we feel. Oulton Park was always a pivotal circuit in the real world British Touring Car Championship in the 1990s. It used to have a mid-round, or sorry, a mid-season round, and then it was always on the calendar later on in the year and seemed to be the point where some drivers came unstuck in the standings. My name's Chaz Draycott. I'm delighted to have alongside me once again Ed May. Ed, we've had a great season up to this point, mate. A lovely round at Thruxton last time. Oulton Park, completely different kettle of fish to everything else that we have to offer though, isn't it?
Yes, it really is. It's a tight, twisty, technical circuit demanding perfection from every single driver here. And again, it's all about the momentum in these Jettas, and because of how demanding this circuit is, all of the drivers will just have to be on their marks, no room for mistakes, because, well, we saw it at several rounds this championship. I think Brands Hatch in particular, where as soon as you make one mistake, because the field's so tightly packed together, you're just going to get steamrolled and overtaken hand over fist.
Absolutely, and that's the circuit we go to next as well, onto the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, after we are done here tonight. But looking at the Drivers' Championship, you can see that Jake Cranstone has a substantial lead now at the top. JB Masida not only second in the championship, but has also moved clear in the top of the Mediocre Cup for Independents as well. But there is a real display of just how good that point system is. I'm going to keep banging that drum there, because in the overall championship, Eric Manningveld is in 10th position, but 4th of the Independents. Over in the actual Independent Championship, though, he is up in 2nd place. So it shows that it's not all just about the overall standings, and in the Teams Championship, well, it couldn't be much closer. Just 4 points between the top two teams, and then only 10 back from Nodafone's Team Jane Fonda. Might Just Fit doing a good job last time out, though, Ed, to take that championship lead back and, well, continue on with good form with Jake Cranstone heading the way.
Yeah, and Jake Cranstone, he does look like the favourite for the championship, at least at this stage. Never know, of course, how the rest of the season will go, but as it stands, as we go into the final half of the season, Jake Cranstone looking pretty comfortable and certainly the driver to beat. JB Masida in this practice session has done everything he can do, showing that he's got the pace here tonight. Could be shaping up for a very exciting qualifying session with Andy Fox not far behind as well, based at least on the practice times we've been seeing so far.
Yeah, very mixed field actually in practice, so I'm intrigued to see how they all fan out here. We've got just 3 independents for this one here tonight. Taylor Adams, Togo Hisada and JB Masida. So no Eric Manningveld tonight, no Morgan Burkhardt either, quite importantly. He's been one of the only drivers that's really been able to take the consistency battle to Jake Cranstone this season. But as we see, the 15 cars that we have here tonight making their way out onto the track, it really is a beautiful sight, very much like the British Touring Car Championship from back in the day. Kyle Ridley, one of the last cars out there, and he's going to take us on our first lap of Oulton Park here tonight. A very tight and twisty circuit, as Ed has alluded to. It's a circuit that's had a few iterations and changes over its years, but it's never really lost that character. There's a lot of bumps and rises and crests here, but the challenge of this place is that they're not sudden and harsh bumps and rises. They're not like hitting speed bumps. They're all really smoothed out and very natural, and there's a lot of bumps here into the hairpin. We're on the island layout for tonight, not the international layout, so they have this very tight hairpin that the British Touring Car Championship has always used. Up over Hilltop, a lot of opportune moments will be built up here, heading down towards the Knickerbrook chicane. And then, of course, the corner itself at Knickerbrook is the right-hander on the exit. They've got to be careful of these tyre stacks, though, haven't they, Ed? Because they will stop a car in its tracks.
Yes, I think all of us have fallen victim to tyre stacks at that chicane. Well, more than once on our time on iRacing, I certainly have. It's when you're pushing the limit, you're trying to find every last little millimetre, and by cutting that chicane as fine as you can to the tyre stacks, you do save a little bit of time, especially, like we say, in these Jettas. It's all about momentum, so as soon as you get those lines right, any extra little kilometre you can take through, or sort of rather kilometre an hour, you can take through an apex, will help you massively on the exit. You can see all the drivers trying to get track position. We saw that, well, certainly was the case last time out, wasn't it, Chaz? All about the track position in qualifying. I wonder if we'll be seeing probably more of the same here tonight, won't we?
Absolutely, we will. Jack Wells, the only driver not out on track at the moment, and we'll be, I'm sure, seeing him out there very, very soon. Good to have him back with us. He was not around at the previous round at Thruxton. There's a few drivers that unfortunately aren't here tonight. We had 21 entrants for this season, so 6 of them not able to make it here tonight, but both the Might Just Fit cars here, which is very important for their championship. Jake Cranstone and Duncan Murray. Jake obviously wanting to take the Drivers' Championship. He wears that number 2 on the car because he finished second last season to Henry Morse, the reigning champion, not with us this season. A lot of the drivers actually wearing their finishing position from last year, as was the, well, what do they call it? The tradition with the British Touring Car Championship back then. That's why Kyle Ridley is car number 3. He finished 3rd last season. Stuart Clark, number 16. A lot of the drivers don't get to choose their number. They have it basically put upon them. Sam Van Alsten, John Bailiff in the Nodaphone cars, 6th and 7th in consecutive order, which is lovely to see. I do love that Nodaphone livery on that car. Really does suit the Jetta. Ben Bennyworth was going well in practice. So too was that man there, Andy Fox. Foxy's been around since Season 1. He's been in and out of the series, but it's great to have him back in Season 4, and looks like he might have the pace here tonight at Oulton Park. Like I say, it's a track that some drivers tend to fall apart at. Others, though, they rise to the occasion.
Yeah, and I think we'll see if that's going to be the case for some of the other drivers as well. I know JB Masida seemed to be very strong in in practice. We'll have to see if that translates into qualifying. He doesn't necessarily tend to qualify well, does he, JB Masida? But always in those second races, that tends to be where he comes alive. That's where he's gotten both of his victories so far this season, from his exploits in those second races of the night, the feature races.
Yeah. He sort of plays the night, doesn't he? He plays the game with knowing that there's a reverse grid. He doesn't necessarily slow down and put himself in an opportune position for that. It's just, like you say, his qualifying is never right up at the top of the order, so he benefits from the fact that he doesn't always have the best first race, or he can't quite make the forward progress. But then, obviously, from then on, he like I say, plays the game. A big shout out, by the way, to our championship sponsors. Thanks very much to Abruzzi, Orris Digital and Derbyshire Holiday Homes. Humongous support from them as ever here on Chaz Draycott Media, and we are very grateful for them giving us that support and providing us with the means to have another season of this great championship. The final season of the British Boring Car Championship, though, I am sad to say. But it's one of those things where when it gets a little bit long in the tooth after a while, there's no point banging the drum too much and ruining what was good, so it's good to sort of bow out of it with fond memories. And these guys have come to celebrate the last season, and we've got a great grid of people that have contributed to the championship in many different ways over the seasons. But we have a couple of race meetings left after this, though, don't we, Ed? We've got Brands Hatch in 2 weeks' time. We have a break after Oulton Park, then Donington Grand Prix circuit, and then back to Silverstone, where we had the second race meeting in sunset conditions. I think Donington Park Grand Prix is going to be very interesting in particular, but Brands Indy, flipping heck, it's going to be a riot that next time round in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I imagine as well, qualifying is going to be so competitive because the laps come thick and fast, all of the drivers fighting for that track position, and on fast laps some trying to get out of the way. It's going to be very congested, so keep your eyes on that. Meanwhile, keep our eyes on the timing sheets. We can see Granny Cranstone top of the pile by 0.2 of a second to Patrick Dopart in behind. Very impressive effort that from Jake, as it stands pretty secure in that provisional pole position. Again, drivers just giving a little bit of time for the tyres to warm up. We're not probably going to be seeing the fastest laps being completed just now. Maybe soon we'll start to see the times ramp up. The guys getting that sort of perfect little operating window. For now, it is Jake top of the pile as well. Alfa Henriksen, I think more trying to stay out of the way. Was that on a rejoin? Or?
Yeah, I think so. JB Masida has just gone back to the pits, but I wanted to bring our attentions to Togo Hisada. Japanese driver had his first victory in class, I believe, at Thruxton. Just going back through the points, sorry. Yeah, he took a win. He's had his first podium in the class at Thruxton, finishing in third in the first race, but then he had a win in class in race number 2 of the night and got an overall podium as well. He had 3 12th place finishes before that, so suddenly burst out of the gates with an overall podium position, and right now, I mean, he's challenging for the top of the times in the independence class as well. I mean, he's only 0.06 of a second off JB Masida. Him and Taylor Adams are right on the money there to be the fastest independent.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good, isn't it, all the way up and down the field. I mean, like you say, Togo Hisada having a great time of things. He's had very much trial by fire, I think it's fair to say, didn't he? His first race meeting was at Snetterton just a couple of weeks ago. Then obviously Thruxton, another completely different kettle of fish, where he was actually in contention for a podium, wasn't he, for quite a lot. Even actually a race victory at one point. We thought Togo may have been in the mix for it, but now it seems like he's settling in really well after a pretty rough start.
Aaron Smith is back out on the circuit. It's good to have both of the Team Bordeaux cars out there tonight. Aaron, a very, very fast racer in the oval world here on iRacing. Ed and I have commentated on him before in his usually trademark bright yellow number 70 machine with the big black number 70 down the side of it. This car slightly different with the gold, as Stuart Clark has had a moment, and his teammate, I think, involved as well. I think the two of them came to blows at Thruxton, didn't they? And now they've had another little moment here going through Druids. A really tricky corner on the circuit, this.
It's just a tap of the grass from ahead, and actually Alfa Henriksen gets on the brakes, goes to the inside, trying to avoid any fast-moving cars in behind. They're trying to work together, but if Stuart Clark's making mistakes up in front of Donny, it's not really going to give Donny too much in the way of confidence that his teammate's going to be the one to help him out.
Alvaron Smith there just sliding the car through the first corner. Fantastic to watch. Really hanging the back end out on this Volkswagen Jetta. One of the key factors of this car is that the back end is actually so planted for a front wheel drive car, so it's not really as loose as you'd want it to be. You know, it doesn't rotate around the front axle so much. It's more like you've got to drag it into the corner. Jack Wells has been in the server, by the way, but I don't see him out there on track during qualifying, so hopefully he's still about and he's just opting to start from the back of the grid. John Bailiff not having the session that we would have expected from him. He's down in 11th position, 4th in the championship at the moment, with 4 podiums to his name. His teammate Sam Van Olst is ahead of him in the championship on pure consistency, but one 17th place finish earlier in the season is all that's really holding Sam back so far. He's only 7 points off JB Maceda, who is second in the standings, so it's nice and close between those guys, even behind as well. It's mighty close. There's 3 drivers actually, Bailiff, Burns and Ridley. Ridley up in 3rd place at the moment, trying to stay out of everyone's way, nearly hitting his teammate. But Burns, Bailiff and Ridley are separated by just 2 points, the 3 of them. Bailiff on 95 points, Burns on 94 and Kyle Ridley on 93. So by the end of tonight, that might be a very different kettle of fish. Stephen Burns, of course, the latest race winner in the championship. He said it was his first Jetta win as well, which was amazing. He's competed against these guys for a long time, and obviously these are no slouches in these cars. They are some of the best Jetta drivers on iRacing. But taking his first win at Thruxton, you could tell it meant a lot to him. He was very happy about that, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely, as well as happy of the drag race that went on that we were able to broadcast. It happened during the practice before we went live, all the drivers lining up on sort of...
No, it was post-race, wasn't it? It was after the race, yeah. So once they were on their in-lap after the feature race, they all lined up on the runway for a humongous drag race, and it ended in a monstrous accident, as you'd expect.
Even Steve Burns continues to keep winning. We'll see if he can carry that form forwards here tonight. Currently 8th fastest, but we do know qualifying doesn't necessarily define your race in these Jettas. The slipstream being as strong as it is, allowing the cars to race closely and give every single driver opportunities to attack and make sure they're aware enough to have to make defensive actions. Jake Cranstone staying in the pits for now. Doesn't seem like he's going to be out in time for any real competitive lap times. So we'll have to see if the likes of Dopart and Ridley can put a time on the board that's quick enough to dethrone him.
It's very close in the middle, isn't it? If you look at it from Van Olst back, you know, he's got only a couple of hundredths of a second over Andy Fox. He's 4,000ths of a second off the guy that we ride on board with now, Ben Bennyworth. It is ridiculous how close those 4 are together. Barely a hair's width separating them. JB Maceda has ended up with a black flag in this session. Not quite sure how he's ended up with that. Whether he's just overdone it on pit entrance or whether he's cut the circuit or something. It seems to have gone now, which is good, but he's been sat in the pits for a while. Maybe it was a speeding in the pit lane penalty, I'm not sure, but he's gotten rid of it now. I was keeping an eye on Ben Bennyworth because he is the only Team Netcode car this season, and he's currently running in 14th in the championship. Had his best result of the season at Thruxton, his first second top 10 of the season, but also his first top 5, finishing in 5th in the feature race. It seemed like that one was very good to a lot of drivers, that race. A number of them getting their best results of the season from that feature.
Yeah, there were so many wonderful stories, weren't there, Chaz, all the way up and down the field. I mean, as well, another thing that I want to shine a light on of that feature was Jake Cranstone's sort of determination, wasn't it, to never give up. And he had a brilliant recovery after an uncharacteristic mistake early on, and himself nearly stone dead last. This last of all the drivers that were still running out on the circuit, and yet he managed to fight his way back through and get on the podium. It was mightily impressive from Jake, and just shows that you can never count him out of anything.
No, you really can't. Getting a little bit stuttering here at my end for some God-given reason. Seems alright now as Bailiff goes 3rd fastest. That's more like it. He's set a purple middle sector, and he's definitely shown that it's worked out, as Donny Alpha Henriksen has had a massive accident on the way up towards Druids. The car is in the wall. I'm not sure if he's just gone wide or something. There's not long left in the session now, so I think he knows that his time is up. So I think he's just going to throw it into the barrier for a bit of entertainment. Yes, he is. Oh, God, it's a big hit, that. New damage model on the Jettas now as well, so with wheels and bumpers and bonnets and things coming off, it looks even more dramatic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Well, there's never a pedestrian crash with these drivers, is there?
No.
It's always going to be pretty intense. So obviously with the addition of the new damage model, it has made it all the more, like you've mentioned, intense. See now, I think these drivers on their final flying laps, the final push laps, currently on board with John Bailiff, who's third fastest. Nice run through that chicane, purple in the second sector, so things looking good for John, but he needs to get some personal bests on the board as well if he's to really try and challenge Cranstone and Dopart up in front. And now, though, oh dear, and he touches the grass on the way into the corner. And, well, giving himself a meeting with the barrier there to bring his session to an end.
It's still funny, isn't it? It's still funny every time. You'll see that at the end of the races as well tonight, everyone. It's not them really throwing it out of the way in frustration. It's just these guys having a laugh. They have such a great sense of camaraderie between all of them. You know, they all discuss everything in the Discord. They all get on really well. It's a lovely, lovely paddock of people. As the session comes to a close, all the cars will disappear. Andy Fox doesn't quite complete his lap, and he will remain in 11th position for, funnily enough, round number 11 of the British Boring Car Championship. Let's have a look then at the grid for this first race of the night. Jake Cranstone takes another pole position. He's ahead of Patrick Dopart. Can Patrick finally get a good result? He was 2 10th places at Thruxton. John Bailiff is next up in 3rd place ahead of Kyle Ridley. Then it's JB Masida leading the independents ahead of Taylor Adams. Togo Hisada starts in 7th place. Good qualifying from him ahead of Sam Van Olst. Then it's round 10 winner Stephen Burns ahead of Ben Bennyworth. Andy Fox is 11th with Duncan Murray alongside him on the 6th row. Then we'll have Donny Alpha Henriksen and Stuart Clark with Aaron Smith in 15th place. Still no sign though of Jack Wells in the Team Red Ring Audi, unfortunately. We hope to see him before the race gets underway. Looking back here though, Ed, from the not quite straight here at Oulton Park, it's always a bit of an interesting one with the strange grid markings here. They accommodate for a lot of bike racing and the staggered 2x2 grids actually here at Oulton, but it looks like a massive run down to turn 1 here, but it's really not, is it?
No, it isn't. I mean, it's going to be very tight and congested, and obviously the run from turn 1 to turn 2 will inevitably throw up some complications for the drivers. Do you want to sacrifice the inside line into turn 1, knowing that in towards sort of turn 3, I think they call it turn 3 here?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. There's the kink through the avenue, but turn 3 really is Cascades, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously you go through the Cascades. Sometimes it's about sacrificing into one corner to gain at the next. We'll see if Jake Cranston will need to make any sacrifice or if he's going to get a good clean getaway.
Here we go then, round number 11 of the British Boring Car Championship gets underway, and straight off the bat, Patrick Dopart slots in on the left-hand side. Kyle Ridley trying to do the same with JB Masida right behind him. He's got Taylor Adams in the mix there with him as well. Duncan Murray has gotten past Andy Fox. Andy not having the start that he would have wanted. Looked like Stephen Burns and Sam Van Olst got a bit friendly in there. Duncan Murray, a flash of the brake lights as they headed down the hill in towards Cascades. Big move down the inside by John Bailiff on Patrick Dopart for 2nd position. Patrick's thinking, no, please just go away. I want to have a clean race for once. I want to get a good result. Patrick's definitely got the pace to do so, but he just needs the luck on his side, and he just needs the race to go his way. John Bailiff tries to squeeze him to the apex. Patrick's car bouncing its way through the hairpin for the first time. Masida and Ridley side by side just behind that as well. As we go over Hilltop down towards Knickerbrook for the first time, it's all helping Jake Cranstone, this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going great for Cranstone. Bailiff Dopart, though, side by side, and he's going to get muscled out. Is he just away all the way around the outside? Dopart gets the move done. Bailiff fought hard, but just couldn't quite make that move stick.
Great stuff, though, from the whole field, keeping it nice and clean so far. Everybody heading up the hill, through under the bridge, and down towards Drew. It's one of the most tricky corners on the circuit. Double apex right-hander here. You've got to be careful not to hit the back of the car in front. Sam Van Olst just gets into Togo Hisada's independent entry there. Big lack of logos on that car to signify the fact that Arena Motorsport was just a bloke with a lot of money. There was actually a massive accident at this final corner for Russell Spence in that particular liveried car in his Laguna in 1999, I think it was. Alan Menu was off in the gravel on the outside near the end of qualifying, and Russell Spence had a brake failure. He went over the curb and it put the car in the air. It missed the gravel trap and hit the barrier and went over it. And luckily, nobody was hurt. Dopart running really wide on the exit of turn 1. Cranstone is gone. He's 1.7 seconds clear, while these guys scrap behind. I think they all think about second and best of the rest in the championship. But right now, Dopart is the cork in the bottle, holding all of these guys back, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember now. What did you say the last time was? I think we talked about it last broadcast, actually. About the largest margin of victory we've had, wasn't it? Something like 7 seconds?
I think it was 9 seconds, and it was Josh Rayfield in Season 1 at Silverstone in the feature race. He had an amazing pit stop and just managed to get out in clear air and won by about 9 seconds, and I don't think anybody has come anywhere near that close since.
Left out in the...
Oh, Foxy!
Right in there, it was flipping heck. What's going on with Foxy there? Big incident.
Yeah, he was...
Randy Fox.
Absolutely.
Just a tag, maybe,
Yeah, I think it was wheel-to-wheel contact. Let's see here. So he's gone past, he's got Duncan Murray down his inside, wheel-to-wheel. And Foxy is spun quicker than you can say Knickerbrook.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think he would have got the call that there was a car that was inside just at the point of turning, so it's not necessarily anything that he's done egregiously wrong. It was maybe just a slight lack of awareness for him. But yeah, Jake Cranstone, well, he's loving life, isn't he? Out in front, not caring the world that everyone else in behind, but we could be seeing, if the likes of Dopart and Baylor continue scrapping, a margin of victory that could be into the double digits in seconds, Chaz. Could be the biggest margin of victory we see, with at least the amount Cranstone's been able to open up in just the first couple of laps.
You never know with Jake Cranstone at the wheel. This is a bit of spirited driving by JB Masida round the outside of John Bailiff. JB on JB, and I don't know why Bailiff's trying to crowd him over to the right, but I think JB was well within his right to give him a bit of that back there, to be honest. He puts his nose down the inside and he's still there. The two of them absolutely rubbing panels together, and they get away with it. Just need to keep their heads now. JB doesn't want to then crowd him over to the left. Let's not cause an accident, but yeah, John was not willing to give an inch there, and it was very clear. JB breaks early, backs out of that, because he knows if him and John continue fighting like this, they'll lose Patrick Dopart in turn. John very slow through the chicane, and now all of a sudden he's lost a few car lengths as a result. Masida pushing him up the hill, but boy, this queue is getting bigger and bigger here, all the way back to Sam Van Alst in 9th, and Masida has his nose down the inside of Bailiff now. He's fed up of waiting behind him. He's kissed the grass though, and he's going to run wide through Druids. What a save from Masida, but now Ridley's on the scene as well.
Yeah, Kyle Ridley, he's trying to find any way past. Looking to the outside now, hard on the brakes. Is he going to be able to get any overlap to help him up through Dearly? No. Just concede that margin. Taylor Adams, well, he's fancying a little fight of his own, doesn't he? Only up in 6th place. Nowhere close enough in towards turn 1. Going to try and pick his moment potentially on the exit, going for that sort of later apex, carrying more momentum out of the corner, but then the cascades don't come, or rather come too soon for him. Oh, never mind, he's going to go for the inside here, Chaz. This is a very gutsy move. If he can pull it off, he's going to have, I think, the nose clear by the exit as well. Yeah, beautiful move there from Taylor Adams.
Really nicely done. Ridley went in a little bit too hot and it cost him big, and Taylor Adams goes back down the inside, and now Kyle gets him back. Stephen Burns puts his nose down the inside of Togo Hisada as well. Togo closes the door. Little bit of contact there, and Sam Van Alst is now in the picture. He gets a little chance to just sneak through. In the distance you can see Ridley and Adams still door to door. Adams just getting his nose in front. They're changing on the timing tower on the left. Big check up into the chicane here. Burns has his back end smashed in, so to speak. Sam Van Alst just gives a little bit of a nudge, and boy, it carries on once again. Ben Bennyworth will be watching all of this, and Donny Alfa Henriksen as well, thinking, what is going on? To be fair, actually, even with all this frantic action, Donny Alfa Henriksen is still only the biggest mover in the field there, and he's only gained 2 places. It's been very, very stalemate, considering how much action there is.
Yeah, but it does tend to be that, obviously, this phase is where the drivers tend to, I guess, fall into what you say, that stalemate, and then towards the end when they make more gutsier moves, that throws everyone out of position, causes more opportunities for drivers to capitalise on sort of mistakes of others. But Derbyshire right now, they're all in a long train, aren't they, of slipstream, so every car is getting slipstream off the next car in front of them. They aren't really able to gain too much on the straights to have those opportunities to make the moves down the inside or force the issue around the outside. It's a little bit of a stalemate for the moment, but I mean, look at the beautiful train of Jettas we've got here.
And they've probably only used about 1 litre of diesel between them throughout this whole race so far. John Bailiff still defending now from JB Masida, but all this while Patrick Dopart is getting away. The main battle is on behind as Togo Hisada wants to go past Taylor Adams for second in the independents, but it's going to cost him as Stephen Burns now heads up the inside. Side by side over the top of the hill, and he's not quite got it as Stephen Burns. Sam Van Olst looking as, I think Taylor Adams has had a slowdown penalty. He's going to lose so many positions. Stephen Burns goes past Kyle Ridley. I think they both had slowdowns as well. Kyle Ridley through. Oh, goodness me. Getting a bit stuttering again here at this end. Not quite sure what it is. OBS just doesn't like me this week. But Taylor Adams, he was second in the independents and right in the thick of the fight, and now he's completely backwards. Togo Hisada becomes the cork in the bottle.
Yep. Togo needing to defend pretty hard, but now he seems to have it covered, doesn't he? No slipstream assistance from JB Masida just up in front of him. Like I mentioned, he is going to, I think, really just start to drop back from the fight ahead as he does act as that proverbial cork. Love this though, the way the cars just roll the way out of that final corner. It's probably one of my favourite areas of the circuit because you're pushing so hard and then you get the compression as you rise up through Deer Leap. Look at this though, battle for,
it's going to end in tears.
Place, and that was, well, a little bit of afters on the exit, wasn't there, Chaz? I'm not sure what your thoughts on that are, but it looked pretty punchy from John Bailiff.
I think he had to get back on the circuit at some point, in fairness, and I think he was trying to throw it back onto the track to avoid the slowdown penalty. I think JB didn't accommodate enough room for John to have to get back on as quickly as possible. JB going late here onto the hairpin. He's going to run deep, but is he going to get the run on the exit? He's definitely not. Whoa, he's wide there. Nearly takes a cone with him as well. Battle back here. Duncan Murray and Taylor Adams getting friendly with each other as well. But it's mighty feisty here at Oulton Park, but this is what I mean. It can get really pivotal. I remember a few seasons ago, it was my own brother actually, Matt Draycott, was in with a chance of the championship with a few rounds to go, and he and Andy Fox had a big incident into the hairpin, and it took both of them out on the very first lap of the night, and that put Draycott on the back foot for the rest of the evening. And I remember Andy, I think he was clocked at doing 700 kilometres an hour as the car got absolutely rocketed into the stratosphere. Speaking of stratosphere, Jake Cranstone's nearly there at the moment. He's having a boring night. 2.9 seconds clear of everybody else at this present moment.
Cranstone really comfortable out in front. Dopart doing his best to do anything really to try and reduce that deficit, but with 10 minutes to go, no slipstream, and let's see, compare the lap times again further. What's that, 2.5 tenths in favour of Cranstone, just slowly eking out that advantage. We're probably not going to see record-breaking margins of victory, but still, nevertheless, very comfortable for the current championship leader out here tonight. He needs to have his work cut out from those. We will inevitably look towards the sort of reverse grid for the feature. Have to pretty much go through majority of the field again, and a circuit where overtaking's proved to be quite difficult. We'll definitely have to have his work cut out for him. There's a perfect example of that, wasn't there? Door left wide open from Alfa Henriksen, but Taylor Adams just couldn't quite take advantage.
Taylor was trying to get his nose down the inside there and get into 10th place, which would be reverse grid pole position, let's not forget. So he wants to take that away from Donny Alfa Henriksen, but yeah, not able to in that circumstance. Donny is in the right place now. He's got Ben Bennyworth in front though, so needs to be careful not to get sort of backed up into Taylor. Taylor obviously one of the fastest drivers here, now reigning Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge champion. I believe the SRM GT4 Challenge will be getting back going again in around a month's time. It's not got yours truly at the helm anymore, so not sure what their plans are, but it looks like they're going to go for their 7th season there, and we look forward to seeing what they've got up their sleeve. Andy and his team of guys doing a lot of hard work on getting that going once more. JB Mercedes getting a lot of hard work going on trying to get past John Bailiff here, and John is saying no thank you. We know that John puts up a strong defence to say the least, but You know what? He's been running really, really well here. Whoa, JB on the way in. Sideways as you like through there. Brilliant stuff. And can we just reference as well, look behind them, Togo Hisada, 5th place overall here. He's getting away from the 2 fighting Team Jane Fonda machines. 2nd in the independents. He's really started to get up to rhythm, hasn't he here?
Yeah, actually on that last lap he did drop back a little bit from JV, but on the whole he has been able to reduce that deficit and is probably just getting a very slight amount of slipstream. As I think in behind is that a bit of a battle there between Sam Van Olst and Stephen Burns. It was, and Kyle Ridley got in the mix earlier on as well. Van Olst on the inside. From Stephen Burns, but there's contact as they apply the brakes. The one thing you don't want is an unsettled Jetta in these scenarios, because we have seen numerous times they continue bumping and barging their way through, and on the exit as well.
Goodness me.
Scary stuff, isn't it? Up the hill they go and then in towards Druids.
The thing is as well,
is Ben going to back? You can see Ben's trying to back Van Olst, but nearly making it 3 wide. Burns is going to get a little tag on the exit. Will that unsettle him? Can carry the momentum through. Really brilliant fight though from all of them. They're quite respectful and still they're pushing hard, aren't they? Giving us exactly what we want to see.
Yeah, exactly. And Donny Alpha Henriksen tries to send it around the outside of Taylor Adams. I think that's going to cost him the place in the end. Taylor Adams got down the inside into Druids and takes 10th place. That's important for him. Potential reverse grid pole position, but there's still 7 minutes of this race left to go here at Oulton Park. You're watching the British Boring Car Championship here on Chaz Draycott Media, and we've got 6 different liveries all together here in this fight, and this is only the fight for 7th place back. This is a mighty fine scrap that these guys have got going on in round 11 as Donny tries to squeeze Taylor into the apex. He wasn't very happy at Thruxton, but we saw in a few instances that it was really him not leaving the room. The stewards looked at it and found no fault of the other drivers. There was a little bit of contact from behind here and there, but nothing that was penalty worthy as Duncan Murray lobs it around the outside into the hairpin. Donny Alpha Henriksen tries to upset Taylor Adams and throw him sideways. Doesn't work. Stephen Burns now side by side with Sam Van Olst. Between them, they've probably got about 2 straight panels on these Jettas. Back into the chicane they go again. Van Olst on the outside on the way in. He's going to be on the inside going through. Gets the position. Nicely done. What about Bennyworth and Adams now? Taylor Adams will probably want to stay here in 10th position and not move up because he'll start on pole position if he's here. But realistically, he's got pressure from 2 fast drivers behind and he's getting sort of pushed into the back of Ben Bennyworth.
Yeah, and now look how much he's having to fight the wheel actually on turning there. Just twisted opposite lock there is he's just cranking the angle on in these Jettas. We've said it time again, but if the car isn't turning as you want it, just twist the steering wheel even further and eventually it'll do what you need to do. Again, look at 180 degrees.
Where did Donny Alpha Henriksen come from though? He's just gone round the outside into the final corner and the Dane has appeared out of nowhere to try and take away 10th position. They can rattle off each other quite a lot in these cars, so they don't get 4x contact incident points every time, and that is delightful from Donny Alpha Henriksen around the outside at Old Hall Corner. You don't often get away with that here at Oulton Park. That's a fantastic bit of driving, big commitment, and now Taylor Adams says to Duncan Murray, no thank you mate, I'll fend you off from here. But let's not forget Taylor, well, he was only back here because he had a slowdown penalty earlier. There was another driver that got a slowdown penalty earlier around the same time as, oh dearie me, tries to throw it around Donny Alpha Henriksen. Donny moves on the brakes and taps the side of him. But I was going to allude to Kyle Ridley. He's now caught up with these guys further up the order. There's no necessary battle going on, but he's putting in some good pace to go and catch up while all this kicks off behind.
Yeah, there's so much going on in behind, isn't there? It's difficult for us to really keep track. Duncan Murray looks like he's trying to get one over on Taylor Adams, who's, certainly been struggling, hasn't he? Down 5 places from where he started. Don't know if it doesn't seem like there's any damage that's affecting his pace. He's just seemingly been, pushed around from pillar to post and not really been getting it, finds himself outside of the reverse grid top 10. Gonna have to try and do everything in his power to get back up there. Engine making a weird noise for you as well, Chaz. It's all up the inside. That's a bit full on, isn't it?
That was very full on by Duncan Murray and very unnecessary late send from him there. That one will not go down well with Taylor Adams, and understandably so. Taylor moves over a little bit to show his displeasure. He's going to try and mug him now on the exit of here. The battle was going on in front as well. Stephen Burns and Sam Van Olst are still side by side, heading down towards Cascades. Burns on the inside, Van Olst on the outside. Bennyworth and Henriksen trying to watch as well. Oh, a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact on the exit. I'm so glad he didn't get turned across the infield there. He'd probably end up flying over the top of him from the jump at Hilltop. Look at that, Stephen trying to squeeze him to the apex as much as possible there. But Ben Bennyworth is the main threat now. He looks down the inside of the two of them, slots back in now that he's got the all clear. We do need to go further forward though, because Patrick Dopart is not getting away from any of these cars behind. John Bailiff, JB Masida and Togo Hisada all getting closer and closer. Kyle Ridley only 1.1 seconds off the back of that. The cameraman spins around and sees Sam Van Olst at the front of this train. Taylor Adams still not able to get back ahead of Duncan Murray, but I can maybe see a bit of a send coming here from Taylor, and I wouldn't blame him because what Duncan did on that last lap was pretty solid.
Yeah, we'll see if there is any payback coming through from Taylor Adams' point of view. He's going to try and force it up the inside, but Murray really squeezing him to the apex, not leaving any room. And Taylor missing out yet again. You can see that top 10 just fading into the distance.
One thing I admire about Taylor, though, is the fact that even in a moment like that, he'll keep his head. We know drivers, between the two of us, we both know other sim racing drivers that will have a moment like that where Duncan puts a move on them, makes contact, and they'll just retaliate and throw the same back. And we haven't seen that here, which is nice to see. And I know that Taylor will keep his head in those scenarios. Bailiff and Masida must have had a battle on that last lap because, well, I mean, Hisada was 0.7 of a second quicker than the pair of them, and Masida was half a second quicker than John Bailiff. So this is all compressing now with just one lap to go after this.
Good lord. It's all kicking off, isn't it? Here. John Bailiff, Patrick Dopart closing in on one another, but yeah, like you mentioned, right in behind, JB Masida piling that pressure on. Togo Hisada seeking his first podium as well in these. This is Donny Alfa Henriksen's evening. Seems to be going from bad to worst. What's going on there?
He's got a black flag, and so too is Duncan Murray. Duncan Murray, I think, has maybe gone one manoeuvre too hard here, and he's hit the back of Donny Alfa Henriksen. Let's have a quick look here. Oh, has there been contact with Duncan and Taylor? Yeah, Duncan's just gone way too hot. Hits the side of Donny Alfa Henriksen, and that's given the two of them a black flag, unfortunately. Simple human error that by Duncan Murray, but easily done, and he's going to come into the pits and relinquish that position. Ironically now, Taylor Adams goes back into 10th place. But onto the final lap of the race, Jake Cranstone leads, Patrick Dopart second. I don't know who's going to be third at the end of this. It's a case of who survives between JB Masida and John Bailiff. Togo Hisada wants a piece of this as well. This is going to be a right mouthful, this final lap, as Hisada looks down the inside of Masida. It's JB on JB, as Bailiff is now on the outside. Suddenly, after losing one place, he's got to defend another.
Yeah, and Togo Hisada had a great run out, and he's going to be getting another helping hand in the slipstream from JB Masida. Tries like all the way around the outside, but didn't account for that little look up the inside, and he's going to take all three of them. Togo Hisada finds himself in a podium place. The two Jettas of Bailiff and Masida get stuck together. It's JB, John Bailiff, we're going to just have to fight it out now.
It's just another move like we've seen before from John Bailiff, I'm afraid. Too eager on the brakes, down the inside, makes contact, runs deep, ruins another driver's race, and not just his own, unfortunately. Kyle Ridley's going to try and benefit from this as well now and get through into another spot. John Bailiff didn't have to do that, and, well, he felt that he had to, and it's cost him 2 positions. And now, maybe even another one as well, as Kyle Ridley tries to squeeze on around the outside. That is big commitment from the Australian. You've got to love it. A little bit of contact on the exit, but up front, Jake Cranstone is going to take another victory. This is his 5th win of the season, and he once again extends his championship lead. 4.7 seconds the gap. Cranstone wins, and Patrick Dopart finally gets a good result. 2nd place for him. The last time he had a podium was back in Silverstone. Togo Hisada, for the 2nd time in a row, wins in the Independents and gets an overall podium. What about this rabble? Sam Van Olst finishes ahead of Stephen Burns, Ben Bennyworth, Taylor Adams will get reverse grid pole position. And in the background, Stuart Clark, Andy Fox and Aaron Smith all fight together, as contact and battles are plenty here between these boys after the race. I said, didn't I? you do tend to see a bit of crashing after the line. It's what they do in the British Boring Car Championship. And the final car's crossing the line. Duncan Murray has crossed the line. Oh, dearie me. Stuart Clark smashing into Sam Van Ulst. And Jake Cranstone, I think, has done the jump at the end of that session. But as is iRacing, we will not be able to see it. Let's have a quick look then at the results of race 1 here tonight. Jake Cranstone wins 4.7 seconds to the good. Patrick Dopart, second place. Like I say, the last time he was on a podium was a second place in race 1 at Silverstone. That was months ago. Togo Hisada takes his second win on the bounce in the Independence Championship and his second overall podium on the bounce. JB Masida, through no fault of his own really, ends up in 4th. Kyle Ridley 5th. John Bailiff drags what's left of that car home in 6th, ahead of his teammate in 7th. It's the numbers that are confusing me. Stephen Burns was 8th after a great fight all the way through. Ben Bennyworth gets another top 10 position, and then Taylor Adams gets top 10 and reverse grid pole. Stuart Clark was 11th ahead of Andy Fox and his teammate Aaron Smith. Duncan Murray, after having to come through for a drive-through, was half a minute down. Donny Alpha Henriksen was out of the race, and Jack Wells as well was not in the race. So, busy that one, Ed. Very busy, wasn't it?
Wasn't it just, Ches? Wasn't it just busy? Everywhere we look, especially that fight for that final top 10 position, was just non-stop, wasn't it? All race long. Plenty of action to sit and digest and mull over. And again, some great little storylines, weren't there? Togo Hisada getting his first ever podium.
Well, his second overall podium in a row. He got one in race 2 at Thruxton as well. So, yeah, very, very happy bunny, I'm sure, with that one. We are going to take a quick break here on Chaz Draycott Media just while the warm-up session goes on. There will only be a few minutes of it, so please do bear with us, and we'll be back in just a few minutes' time. See you in a few. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Ed May here for the British Boring Car Championship. And we are loving life at the moment with rounds 11 and 12 here from Oulton Park. Hope you're all enjoying the show so far. It's been a very, very busy one. And after the first race of the night, Ed, I'm not quite sure whether we're prepared enough for race number 2. It's usually a little bit more exciting. But to be honest, Jake Cranstone and Patrick Dopart will be hoping that it's not, because they both had a lovely time of it, didn't they? Despite having to put up quite an early defence from Patrick Dopart.
Yes, I mean, we saw Cranstone, I think, at his absolute best in his comfort zone, and now we're going to have to see him, well, a little bit less comfortable, shall we say, with this next race, having to start from 10th place. A lot of fighting to do on a circuit where we did see we saw just how difficult it was to overtake. You've got to be in the right place at the right time, but that is something that Jake knows all too well how to do, isn't it? How to manifest those moments. So we'll see if he can maybe get another podium out of tonight. We shall see. With 2 minutes to go. Got a few drivers out on track just getting acclimatised. Sorry, Chaz. Yeah, it's very hard to believe that, especially when we consider Taylor Adams' credentials in so many other series, as well as obviously his time before in the Jettas. It's been a very sort of strange season from Taylor, but he's in a great position to make amends from that in this second race. This is it's kind of Ridley only in practice. Just trying to drift it. Oof. Yes, those Jettas have some interesting quirks about them. I actually noticed earlier, it seemed like there was some weird engine notes on one on board. I think it was, I can't remember who it was now. Certainly seemed to be having some interesting engine notes before. Obviously, we got distracted by someone throwing it up the inside. I think it might have been Andy Fox, actually. So I'm not sure if it's just with the way that the shifting was, maybe shifting up and down, trying to get sort of, I guess, the revs for more torque.
I need to apologise. I was muted for a portion of that then. Sorry, I've been having a drink here, everybody. As you all know, in the UK right now, it's about 87 degrees Celsius. So with the fan on and with a drink in my hand, I'm trying to mute and unmute as quickly as I can. But when I sometimes change camera while muted, I don't unmute again. I was just talking about how Taylor Adams from pole position will be a super interesting one here because of the fact that he's got such great credentials from other championships, as Ed rightly alluded to. You know, he's reigning SRM GT4 Challenge champion. He's only been on the podium overall once this season, and every single second race of the night he's had has been worse than race 1. Hopefully that's not the case here, and we'll see him take another overall podium. There is your grid, and it is going to be the top 10 from race 1 reversed, with the rest of them as they were. Doesn't look like Jack Wells will be taking part in this one, unfortunately, here tonight, but we hope to see him back in 2 weeks' time for the next round of the championship at Brands Hatch. We're about to go racing, though. Aaron Smith not on the grid for this one by the look of it. Maybe a pit lane start, but round number 12 of the CDM British Boring Car Championship, sponsored by Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Orris Digital, is underway, and it's a great start by Taylor Adams. Move all the way over to the right-hand side. 25 minutes this race, not 20. Everybody else in the background trying to keep it nice and tidy. Togo Hisada has Patrick Dopart going around the outside of him. Jake Cranstone wanting in as well. Two teammates side by side. Sam Van Olst and John Bailiff. John Bailiff with the blue windscreen banner. Sam Van Olst with the red. John down the inside, managing to sneak through. Hopefully no team contact like we saw them have back at Thruxton. Stephen Burns all over the road trying to get past. Oh, Bennyworth is in the background. Stuart Clark and Andy Fox are off. Oh, Clark's ended up going backwards into him again. Stuart Clark is around, and at the front of the pack, Bennyworth and Burns have made contact. Ridley and Van Olst also making a bit of contact as well. What on earth was that about with Stuart Clark and Andy Fox?
Yeah, I'm not sure what was on there, but yeah, big moment there for Andy Fox, dropping way down as a result. Actually, not way down, sorry, way out of it though, unfortunately. Taylor Adams, meanwhile, though, having the start he was dreaming for, wasn't he? Look at this, Ben Bennyworth muscling his way through on John Bailiff. The two Notiphone cars nose to tail, and John has actually got a great run now out of the corner as a result of that little bit of contact, maybe slowing down Bennyworth. And well, the train of Jets pushing each other along as they come through. Right-hander. Two wheels up on the grass on the inside is going to slow Bennyworth down on the exit. And the two Notiphone cars actually working brilliantly together to get the better of Ben. It's a lovely bit of interplay actually between the two of them to get those wins done. That's how you should work together as a team. And strong points seemingly on the cards for Notiphone already. Set the sights now on Stephen Burns and Taylor Adams. Taylor had a great start to the race, fastest lap so far. Got fastest lap, start of the race. I'm not looking too much into those times just yet, but we'll certainly keep our eyes on, well, that gap later on as the race progresses. But right now we're following JB Masida all the way around the outside through Cascades. Nothing doing there though, is there? He's just having to back out of it and I'll worry about him behind Patrick Dopart, who looked very impressive in that first race.
He's looking impressive around the outside. Yeah, he's throwing it around the outside of the number 5 machine. It was, it was actually Bennyworth losing out to both the Notiphone cars. He started second on the grid. He's now down to 6th place. Bennyworth having a nightmare first lap, but as you said at the top of the show, Ed, it's one of those circuits where as soon as you're offline and you've been overtaken by one car, you get absolutely freight trained. Togo Hisada has lost 2 places, but I'll tell you what, he's been fighting doing it as well though. He's been overtaken by Jake Cranstone and Patrick Dopart, first and second in the first race of the night. But right now, Taylor Adams, I was going to say he's streaking out in front, but he's only got a 0.6 of a second lead over Stephen Burns. And Stephen wants his second race 2 win on the bounce here tonight. He won the second race back at Thruxton, as I can hear tyre screeching and all sorts, as JB Masida has been overtaken by Patrick Dopart. Let's see.
Okay, on board with the aforementioned Patrick Dopart.
Oh,
it's just a tap of the grass. We saw that actually in qualifying, didn't we? That very same moment between, was it the 2 dodgy MOT cars? It was Stuart Clark ahead of Alfa Henriksen, who had that exact same error.
Yeah.
It's easily caught out because you're trying to obviously open out the corner to carry the momentum, the speed through. But just by doing it a little bit too much around here,
big bit of contact.
Is certainly unforgiving.
Yeah, huge shoulder barge there from JB Masida on Togo Hisada. Just ran a little bit squirrely on the exit of the first corner, and Hisada got smacked in the front left. Alfa Henriksen now giving a push to Duncan Murray. He wasn't too pleased after the first race with a lot of rear contact late on the brakes, just pushing him over the incident limit. And he's going to be hoping to not cause the same to everyone else here as he pushes Togo Hisada up over the top of the hill. Donny Alfa Henriksen now hoping to favour the silver and black machine over Duncan Murray's Vauxhall-esque might just fit car, because that's the car that hit him over the incident limit in race 1. But Duncan around the outside swoops through into the chicane and into the top 10. Nice move there. Just behind them, Andy Fox hoping to recover. He says, I've seen one of your cars before actually, Donny. It smacked me backwards. We'll have a look at what happened with that though, Ed, because it was a weird incident. Was it just a case of not enough room left?
My replay doesn't seem to be working at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on with my iris in here, so you'll have to talk us through it, Chaz.
Oh, it was a big bit of netcode actually, as Andy runs wide on the exit of Cascades. Stuart just, well, he's on his line, and unfortunately as Andy comes back on, it's a huge bit of contact that, well, just sends Stuart off to the right, and it was definitely netcode that caused that though. Massive shame. Aaron Smith not taking part in this second race of the night. I'm not quite sure why. I've not seen any message or anything from Aaron, but maybe just not able to make it to the second one. Vodafone need some big teams championship points here from this race. They are currently in 3rd and 4th and on for a good run of it. They scored quite a lot of points at Thruxton in the first race, 25 there, but Might Just Fit scored 28, and then they scored 18 in race 2. Actually, that first race at Thruxton was their best of the season, and they finished 3rd and 4th there as well. So if they can do it again here at Oulton Park, they'll be very chuffed. But John Bailiff really needs to rein it in. He's been a bit over-eager on the brakes on multiple occasions, hasn't he, Ed? And we saw it again there, and, well, he's inadvertently put himself in a fight with his teammate.
Yeah, I think maybe there's been a bit of communication between the two, because Sam could have really taken advantage of that, dived up the inside, but I think we had him just lift off a touch and back out of that one. John's certainly not been out here to make friends, has he? He's been pushing hard, making those daring moves up the inside, and not necessarily been working out for him. He wants to fight for those positions. He knows that the opportunities are few and far between around here, so whenever he gets a sniff, well, he's desperate to try and take advantage of it.
Togo Hisada all over the back of Duncan Murray, still here with Donny Alf Henriksen and Andy Fox for company. Taylor Adams has opened up that race lead, by the way. He's now 8/10ths clear after doing his personal best on the previous lap. Jake Cranstone did the fastest lap of the race at 1:35.84 last time. Stuart Clark is already over the incident limit and will be coming into the pit lane at the end of this lap to serve a drive-through penalty. Another fastest lap of the race for Jake Cranstone. It does take a few laps to get the tyres warmed up on these Jettas. Apparently you have to push it for a good 2 or 3 laps, and that's what these guys have done. And with a bit of clear air, maybe a bit of slipstream now, Jake has managed to sort that. Stuart Clark popping into the pit lane, and he's got to do... Oh, it's a stop-and-go penalty, actually. Not even just a drive-through, but he stops. Maybe picked up a fast repair on the way as well, just to get it done. As in the background, I just saw Togo Hisada there moving out to the right-hand side. I think it was more defending from Donny Alfa Henriksen with anything, as... Well, Donny Alfa, complaining about being hit in the rear, smashes into the back of Togo mid-hairpin. So you give what you get, I suppose. But back to Stephen Burns, second place, trying to chase down Taylor Adams. He's going to be looking that way, isn't he, Ed? And hoping not to look behind him at the absolute rabble piling in. There is no car more than 0.6 of a second apart, all the way back to 9th position from behind Stephen Burns.
Burns there. He's got his own fight to worry about up in front of him, though, not just from John Bailiff closing their gap, but also Taylor Adams over that last lap. Stephen Burns did gain just a 10th of a second. It's small progress, but still progress for Stephen. Is that going to be scuppered? Look at these little sniffs up the inside, not necessarily committing to moves, but just letting Stephen know that he's there. John Bailiff trying all he can do to fill the mirrors. Stephen come out. See over the line what the lap times are looking like, what the relative pace is like, and well, Stephen's really putting the pace down now to try and close up to Taylor Adams, but Bailiff even faster, actually one of the fastest drivers out on circuit, that man in 3rd place, really pushing hard.
Yeah, Cranstone, Dopart and Masida as well, faster than everybody else on that last lap. Those 3 all under the 1:36s, and the only 3 drivers on the track to do faster than a 36 as well. Martin Kenyon in the chat, good to see you, mate. Says boring cars at Oulton. Classic. It absolutely is as well, isn't it? Wonderful to have the British Boring Car Championship back here at Oulton Park. We're not doing 2 rounds here this season. We in the past have done the Foster's layout and the Island layout in the same season, but we're not doing that this time. We don't hate the drivers that much. But Taylor Adams, I mean, he's in the lead, but he's not the most comfortable he's been, is he? I mean, he's got a 0.6 of a second lead and he's controlling the race beautifully, but I think the slipstream is what's keeping these guys with him, because there's a lot of faster sections like this up the hill here where that long-winded slipstream from the Jetta makes quite the difference, especially down towards the hairpin as well.
Oh, sorry, hello. Internet seemed to drop out just for a moment there. Can you repeat that, Chas?
Yeah, I was just saying...
Everything just went. I lost everything. That was kind of...
I was just saying about how, you know, it's the slipstream that's keeping Burns and co in this one at the moment, because Taylor Adams really is, you know, while he is about 0.6 clear, he's controlling the race nicely, but he's just not able to get away, and really Bailiff's doing the wrong thing here and trying to fight Stephen Burns.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on this earlier, didn't we, where it went similar point in this race as it was in the last race, where they all kind of slipped into that stalemate where they're getting slipstreams off of one another, can't really gain on the car ahead when the car ahead itself is gaining slipstream. kind of neutralises a lot of the battles. You need to really just rely on mistakes more than anything else to try and make the moves stick. Burns trying to find any way through. He's being, well, very punchy up the inside. Has he got that move made and secured, though, against Bailiff? Or Bailiff, sorry. Tried to get the move on Burns, wasn't it, around the outside? Bailiff, oh, sorry. I forget my drivers the right way around this time. Stephen Burns had to go very defensive, didn't he, to try and keep John Bailiff in behind.
Cranstone with a lovely move around the outside of the hairpin as well there on Ben Bennyworth. Fantastic bit of driving, and again just taking advantage of the fact that this check-up is happening in front of him. He's not looking at the driver at the front of this queue. He's looking at the driver right in front of him and thinking, right, where is that driver going to brake? They're going to brake earlier than normal, and I know what I should do, but yeah, that was just great stuff from Jake. He came from so far back there. Oh, that is, well, not the way to carry the pace as Ben Bennyworth down the inside. JB Masida has been off the road, unfortunately, further back with Patrick Dopart, and he is now out of the race, is JB Masida, the championship leader in the independents, down the inside. Whoa, excuse me, Sunshine. Has a bit of contact, and into the barriers he goes.
They're not what JB needs for his championship. Drake Cranstone somehow has been able to defend that 6th place. I thought for sure from the little mistake he made, again, getting caught out, just tapping the grass on the way in. It's that double right-hander at Druids. Seemingly, just retain that position, but still great drive for the moment from Jake, isn't he? Up into 5th place from where he started 10th, right in the middle of the pack. Patrick Dopart as well, trying to get a move through on Ben Benioff, getting a great slipstream, isn't he, from Jake Cranstone. Ben's forced to the inside, no cars there for him to benefit from with those extra few kilometres, and that's all the advantage Patrick needs to clear a path around the outside. Brilliant little bit of racecraft there from Patrick, saw the gap, took advantage of it, muscled out Bennyworth, made sure he was isolated, no slipstream, and then made the pass all the easier for him.
Yeah, lovely stuff, absolutely brilliant job that. And good opportunism. It's lovely to see Dopart putting in a performance like that as well after having such an upside down season compared to his pace. He got only his 3rd podium finish of the season in race 1 with a 2nd place. Hasn't won a race this season, which is just unbelievable considering how fast he is in these cars. He's just been so unlucky. In season 3 of the championship he was a real front runner as well, so I'm surprised to see him not have a win yet. I'm hoping for his sake that he gets one before the season is done. John Bailiff determined to get past Stephen Burns here, but Stephen wants to get another race 2 victory on the cards. He won the 2nd race of the night at Thruxton. These guys in reverse order of how they finished in the championship last season, 8th, 7th, 6th, and you can see that denoted by the car numbers. We're over halfway through this race now with 12 minutes left to go here at Oulton Park. You're watching the British Boring Car Championship here on Chaz Draycott Media. Thanks once again to championship sponsors Orris Digital, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Abruzzi. It has been great fun so far to have this final iteration of this series. This is the 4th and final championship, and this is iRacing indeed. Hello Owen and GB in the chat. It's not a game, it's a sim, they say. Sam Van Ulst looking down the inside of his teammate, a little bit of inter-team contact there. That's not going to help anyone, but look at the front though, Ed. Taylor Adams has lost a lot of ground on that previous lap, and he's suddenly in the mix.
I mean, any one of these drivers in this long train could end up winning the race, can't they?
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful sight to see with 11 minutes to go. A long train of Jettas snakes its way through, well, yeah, another section of corners here at Oulton Park. Jake Cranstone, now what can he do? In this corner where he made those mistakes earlier, staying well clear of that outside patch of grass. That white line has certainly been proving tricky for a number of drivers up and down the field. Like you mentioned, just focusing entirely on Ridley's rear bumper. Where is it going to be? Is there anything up ahead that could be affecting him that he could take advantage of? For right now, he's basically just sitting in wait for any action to happen ahead of him that he can take advantage of. But right now, we're playing relatively nice. It's only into, well, I'd imagine the upcoming hairpin where we'll see the drivers try and fan out and take some space. As I say that, look at this Bailiff up the inside. Fancies a move. It's going to be a little bit compromised on the exit.
Burns gives him
very
a bit
late
back.
and brave.
Yeah, he's going to have to be. And Taylor Adams does the right thing here and goes defensive on the inside. Is he going to get a push into the hairpin? He is. Gets a shove from Stephen Burns. Van Olst hits the back of Burns, who then hits the side of Bailiff. Ridley trying to get in on this as well. Watch Cranstone. He's looking down the inside of of Ridley. Burns and Bailiff side by side, wheel to wheel. Are they going to be able to do this? Bit of contact into the chicane. Luckily, they don't hit Taylor Adams. As a result, more contact as Bailiff keeps his nose down the inside. Cranstone's going to try and take advantage. He goes past Ridley. Burns somehow doesn't get past anybody. And Bailiff only just about gets past Stephen Burns. Very feisty stuff as they head up the hill. More elbow-to-elbow stuff from Van Olst and Burns. Burns clearly not happy with it. Doesn't want to be pushed out of the way by these boys. This could end in tears. Round Druids we go. Bit more contact as well as he runs wide. Cranstone wanting in on this, or does he? Ridley will go on board with now. He's going to get a front row seat as his teammate getting mugged at this stage. Let's see what happens here. Burns a bit later on the brakes. Down the inside into Lodge. Look at the brake discs glowing here late in the day here at Oulton Park in the British Boring Car Championship. Sean Wood's asking if there's a turbo system in it. No, they don't have that in iRacing. It's Burns and Cranstone into the wall. Burns didn't leave enough room on the left-hand side. Cranstone had his nose down the inside. Championship leader has big damage on the front of the car. And that is not going to help anybody at all. Stephen Burns was in second place, hoping for a strong result. Oh, dearie me.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It just was not enough room left for Cranstone on the inside there.
I think he was expecting Cranstone to back out of it. What this does mean is Taylor Adams leads the race with a bit of breathing room, and we have two Nodaphone cars on a potential podium run right now, with Bailiff second, Van Olst third, Bennyworth and Cranstone side by side. No, it's Duncan Murray, sorry, side by side. What's left of Cranstone's car behind. Sean Woods was asking if there's a turbo system. They don't have that in iRacing. This is just a straightforward diesel Volkswagen Jetta. This is on iRacing, though, as Shawnee has asked. And if you want to participate in this championship, GB, I'm afraid that you have missed out. This will be the final running of the British Boring Car Championship, and the entries for the season are closed. We're over the halfway point of the championship now, I'm afraid, so there will be no more admission into the series. We've had championships in the past, with no disrespect meant at all, where we've had new blood in at the later stages of the season, and the championship fight has been affected negatively, let's just say, by others coming in and ruining people's races. Not on purpose, not anything malicious, just different driving styles, different approaches, and a different ethos to what we have here in the British Boring Car Championship. It's not a cliquey environment. All these guys get on and have a wonderful, wonderful laugh. But yeah, based on previous iterations in other series, we don't allow new drivers to enter the grid a lot of the time after the halfway point of the season, and even then, entries are only allowed to be recorded before the season starts. We don't let anyone sign up after the season is underway. So but apologies.
There is obviously though, more things in the works here at Chaz Drake Media, aren't there? New seasons being worked on, certainly in the pipeline upcoming. So keep your eyes on it. Get in the Discord for any announcements of new series coming, and make sure you're in early enough, because usually the demand is pretty high for things like this, aren't they, Chaz?
Yeah, I mean, we've got another championship that I'm hoping to announce before the end of this season. There should be an announcement before this is all done, but no, this is unfortunately the final running of the British Boring Car Championship here on Chaz Draycott Media, the fourth and final season. It's been run for a few years now, and we've had a really good laugh with it along the way, but you can only bang the drum so many times before the skin starts to fall off it, and we feel like it was maybe getting to that point, so we've decided to quit while we're ahead. Taylor Adams is definitely not quitting while he's ahead, though, is he, Ed? He's having a fantastic run now that everyone's had a good fight behind him. He's holding on to that race lead. He is the only driver that is currently running where he started.
There we are, and it's just what Taylor's needed. We saw it actually, didn't we, that he's a driver that's only been on the podium, was it, so far once this season? Twice?
Just one.
Shockingly small amount of success for Taylor this season when you consider how great he's been in all of the other sort of runnings and everything else we've done here on the channel. It's been astonishing to see him struggle for results in the way he has done, but for now, with the 2-second margin, 5.5 minutes remaining, it's looking pretty comfortable, especially with all the battling going on in behind him. John Bailiff, well, defending like his life depends on it. Sam Van Orst, I think, backing him up more than anything. We haven't seen any real attacks from the other Nodaphone car yet, have we? Maybe they were just working together until the very end. Patrick Topar, a little bit of a crunch there as he goes side by side with Kyle Ridley.
And Ridley, somehow in all of that, has actually ended up making a move on Sam Van Alst as they go up over the crest of the hill. Then 5 minutes of this race left here to go in the British Boring Car Championship here on Chaz Draycott Media. Ridley late on the brakes, Van Alst even later on the brakes. The two of them side by side through the chicane. Dopart needs to put his car in a position where he can take advantage of this, but he's got Bennyworth and Murray and Cranstone lining up behind him. Kyle Ridley completes the move though. Great bit of driving by the Australian. He and John Bailiff have both moved up 3 places in this race. Dopart wants to come through now. The Polish driver wanting to make a move on the Belgian just ahead of him. Down towards Druids, though, is not the place to try and make such a move. Kyle Ridley having to hold on as Van Alst pushes him through the corner, over the crest of the hill, down towards Lodge. Well, I'll tell you what, Bailiff and Adams will be very, very pleased with this in their rearview mirrors, because it means basically their position is more secure as Murray looks down the inside of Bennyworth, sends it into the final corner, opens the door for Jake Cranstone to come through. I don't know how Cranstone's car is still going after all the damage it sustained earlier. We're going to have a quick look, though, at what happened with all of that mayhem earlier on.
Yeah, little look back to what we saw. Cranstone just trying to find himself in the right sort of window, chasing down Van Alst. Burns is going to try and maybe get the, maybe he had the call that was clear on the inside, but as one sort of car had passed him on that inside, another car was, well, lining it up and just maybe didn't realise that Cranstone was there, didn't have the call, couldn't see him, I'm not sure. But
yeah,
there's certainly nothing that Jake could have done differently there, unfortunately, for our championship leader.
Stuart Adams, father of Taylor Adams, current race leader, nail-biting dad, he's put. He says that he's probably got lower I rating than these guys. To be honest, most of the field is about 4,000. Kyle Ridley, 4,300. The highest we would have had is actually JB Masida, 5.3k. The rest are just over 4,000 and Taylor is just under it, 3,900. So it's a very level playing field when it comes to this, but I wouldn't like to know the average, because I think the lowest I-rated driver in the whole field is actually the one we look at now, Ben Bennyworth, 2,448. Duncan Murray, 2,456. The rest are 2,7. Stuart Clark is 2,7. Everyone else is over 3.5 and 4k. So it's an incredibly talented field that we have here in the British Boring Car Championship. We say quality over quantity. We know we don't have the biggest grids as, oh dearie me, it gets busy down into Lodge. There's a big moment between Patrick Dopart, Sam Van Alst and Kyle Ridley. They all try and squeeze one another, somehow continue on as Jake Cranstone heads into the pits. Jake Cranstone with a drive-through penalty, I believe. Black flag for him. And he makes his way understandably through the pit lane. This could be a pivotal point. Like I say, championships can be changed here at Oulton Park. He does have a big advantage to go with. And Van Alst now has a black flag.
Ooh.
Sam Van Alst will have to drop down out of that position. Big championship points for Nodaphone going missing.
Wait. Let's have a look here.
I think Ridley got a slowdown. Or did he? No, I don't know. He sort of moved out of the way as if he did. But Sam Van Alst with a black flag, as you see on the left-hand side there, he will need to come through the pit lane. There'll be one more lap to go after this as well.
Yeah, unfortunate for Sam Van Alst and Nodaphone. They were gone for some really strong points, both of them on the podium, but now it's just all come undone as well, though. There was opportunity for some big championship points for Might Just Fit. They were way up there, weren't they, with Jake Cranstone. Now all of a sudden dropping back. Who else was in there? Was it the two Shane Fonda cars? It was Stephen Burns, wasn't it? And Kyle Ridley.
Oh, dearie
up in
me.
front. So, need to be careful with more of those contacts, because you could see more drivers getting those black flags.
Yeah, Ben Bennyworth now having to take to the grass to avoid Patrick Dopart. Patrick moves all the way over to the right. Ben actually did really well at Thruxton in race 2, benefiting from everyone else's dramas, and he's doing more of the same here. Look at Togo Hisada coming through as well. Japanese driver says thanks very much. White flag in the air from Barney, the iRacing flagman. Black flag in the air for Sam Van Alst as he comes through into the pit lane server drive-through penalty. Bennyworth down the inside, brave on Kyle Ridley into turn 1. Leans on him a little bit. Dopart runs wide. Togo Hisada doesn't want to fall for that one again. He got smacked in the side earlier. Andy Fox has come through out of nowhere as well. Duncan Murray is in the back of that. 5 and 6 places gained each for those guys, as now Togo Hisada down the inside of Ben Bennyworth. Patrick Dopart somehow finds himself at the front of the train. Foxy decides he's going to go to the pub here in Little Budworth. Flipping heck. Fantastic kickoff. What about the hairpin, Ed?
Oh, here we go, right way around the outside. Patrick Dopart, Kyle Ridley still going at it, hammer and tongs. There's a little bit of afters on the exit. again, drivers having to be so careful, but Dopart is trying to get the drive out, nothing doing, but now looking to the inside, now to the outside, forcing Kyle Ridley into an uncomfortable position.
Oh,
There's a little bit of contact just as they go onto the brakes there, and that's going to cause even more of a hassle for Dopart as he cuts the
they've
course.
both got black
They'll have
flags.
to get a
Oh,
slowdown.
come on.
Black flag. Deary me.
Togo Hisada ends up getting shoveled off the road. Andy Fox is the one that benefits. He moves up into 4th place. Kyle Ridley had a black flag out of all that. Patrick Dopart's done the big thing and moved out of the way. Kyle's continued on and then ended up taking somebody out of the race. But further up the road, it is Taylor Adams. And he is now going to make his way around the final corner. And he is going to take his first victory of the season. He wins in the independents and he wins overall. John Bailiff gets a great 2nd place as well. Kyle Ridley may cross the line in 3rd. He might not after all this. Andy Fox is now going to try and cross the line in front of him. Andy's going to take 3rd, or is he? Is it going to be Duncan Murray? He just beats him in the end. Murray's going to be 4th ahead of Ben Bennyworth. Next up is Donny Alpha Henriksen. 8 places gained for him. Togo Hisada somehow still 2nd in the independents. Patrick Dopart serving a drive-through penalty. Stephen Burns next up ahead of Sam Van Olst, who also had a black flag in that race. And now there's going to be a lot of crashing after the line, I can tell you that for free. Oh, they're all going to do the jump. Watch out for them doing the jump here. Look at them all. They all do this. Oh my God, Jake Cranstone going flying. Oh no. Oh my God, is that Donny Alpha Henriksen? Good Lord. God.
Cranstone trying to kick a field goal with some of those.
Yeah.
He was there for a moment. Well, who was that going for a little Tony Hawk's pro skater grind along the tyre stacks there?
I think... Was that... I don't know, actually. This is Donny Alpha Henriksen's attempt. He's gone way too hot. Oh, it is Donny Alpha Henriksen. He's gone for the grind. Ben Bennyworth takes off over him. There's a big bit of contact between Kyle Ridley and Duncan Murray. Donny Alpha Henriksen can't get it going. He then turns it... okay, so he's going to fling it over to the right here, does a big roll and a flip, and then Cranstone's going to try and nail him and just goes under him. The British Boring Car Championship, everybody. Let's have a look then at the result of that 2nd race. A chaotic end to that one, and yeah, definitely stuff to look over when I'm back from the weekend. Taylor Adams takes the win, his first of the season, and a win in the independents class. John Bailiff will be really happy with some big championship points in 2nd. Andy Fox ends up with a podium from 11th on the grid. Ben Bennyworth is 4th ahead of Donny Alpha Henriksen. Togo Hisada takes the win. 2nd place in the independents class. Stephen Burns was 7th ahead of Sam Van Olst, who was 8th. Jake Cranstone 9th. Then Stuart Clark in 10th ahead of Kyle Ridley after his drive-through penalty. Patrick Dopart in 12th. Duncan Murray a lap down. JB Masida, Aaron Smith and Jack Wells not classified in the end. So, our usual, we go back to the very start of this race and we decide to have some drivers in for a quick chat. To be honest, they're all probably still screaming at each other after how the end of that race ended up. Apparently Duncan Murray said the jump at the end disqualified him from the race. I was going to say, he wasn't a lap down, was he? Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
I'm just going to message him. I'll obviously... Yeah, I'll look at that because at the end of the day, the jump shouldn't have disqualified him after the race, so that's fine. We'll obviously reinstate his position. We know where he was across the line in the end. And we'll drag in the man that won the first race and somehow managed to scrape a result-ish in the second one. Jake, how on earth? I mean, it all got a bit messy at the end, didn't it?
Yeah, it was an evening of 2 halves, wasn't it, for sure. Let's forget about the second half. Yeah, amazing win in the first race by me. That was, yeah, wow. I don't know what happened in the second race.
So humble. But no, I mean, perfect drive for you. You know, pole position, lights to flag win, extend the championship lead. It's exactly what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying to Taylor that this circuit is pretty much, if you're in the lead and you know how to defend, you just stay there. You know, you can't really do anything. We're all so close with the pace in this car. The racing is very difficult, and I think that's what we saw in the second race. Trying too many moves that, you know, are quite on the edge because you can't do anything else here.
Yeah, it's definitely a display of patience, this track. It's one that, as we said at the top of the show, it can make or break championships, this one, because it's such a pivotal place to be, where split-second decisions make all the difference. You've got a week off now, but then, of course, we go to Brands Hatch Indy. What are you thinking about going there?
I can't really remember when we did it before, but I don't remember it being terrible, so hopefully it'll be good fun. I mean, it'll be close racing. And it'll be good practice for me to do it on the sim before I go and do it in real life that same weekend.
Oh, fair play. Are you out in the MG again that weekend?
Yes, yeah, it will be.
Cracking. Well, let's hope that you get some wonderful conditions for that. I mean, you're probably one of these guys that wants it to rain, so it's sideways everywhere, but even still, we hope that goes well for you as well. Jake, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
Shout out to you guys. Thanks for putting this on as usual. Hi Ed, haven't spoken to Ed for ages, but I always like to say hi to Ed. My mum watching along at home, grandparents, and I think Ali and Dave are watching too, and also Kyle's mum, of course.
Smashing stuff. Always a pleasure, Jake. Again, I hope it all goes well at Brands for you, mate, and we'll speak to you, well, hopefully at Brands. See you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers. Jake Cranstone there, winning the first race of the night, and then having a very different story in the second race. Let's speak about the driver that had it the other way round, Taylor Adams. Taylor, well done, mate. Your first win in the British Boring Car Championship. I know you may not have wanted it to be a reverse grid win, but I tell you what, you still had to work for it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I was. I'm pretty happy with the result. I did not have much pace in that second race. Mainly because I got into my own head of it, I think. But when they all had the instant behind, I was like, right, relax.
Yeah.
And then I was still below, but
well, it's easily done, mate. I mean, this is one of those cars where it's easy to drive, but it's hard to get the pace out of, isn't it? Especially when you're on your own at the front with no reference. It's not like you need the other drivers to be quick. We've been banging on about how quick you are in everything that we put you in, but it's not an easy car to lead in, is it? Because of just how separate all the physics are to all the other cars on iRacing.
yeah, it's really easy to overdrive, which is I think what I was doing a lot. And yeah, when you're following someone, you naturally underdrive it a bit. So my pace was all right if I was behind someone, but then as soon as I got into the lead, I just started overdriving.
That's like me, that, although I don't overdrive, I'm just rubbish. It's still a great result for you, and obviously it's been good to see you get that podium position, because we've not had many podiums from you this season, but we've got Brands Hatch Indy next time round in 2 weeks. How are you feeling about that?
Well, I did all right at Brands GP, so I've only got to learn one corner to figure that out fully, so I feel, relatively confident. We'll see. I think it's going to be very tough racing around there for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite argy-bargy, but certainly exciting. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, thanks to you and Ed for putting on this. It's great fun to be a part of. And shout out to Matt. He was basically on Discord to me, telling me to calm down the whole race.
Oh, bless you.
And shout out to my parents and my girlfriend who are watching. So hello to them.
Wonderful stuff. Matt Slight, I take it, as well, teammate at Regenta. Great stuff. Lovely. We'll send him our best as well. It's lovely to hear he's even a part of this, if not just in the background. But yeah, well done tonight, Taylor. Great to see you get that win, mate, and we'll hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Well, there we go. Taylor Adams taking a victory. We'll very quickly move on to the next man who finished in second place in that race. He didn't have the finish to race one that he would have wanted, but John, a busy night for you, fending off everybody, including your teammate.
Yeah, it's a tough one tonight. I really like Oulton Park, but it's one that it's difficult to get anything done. And I think if you end up in the wrong point, at the wrong place, then you just sort of go backwards. Like race one wasn't the last lap that I'd intended, but race two I think made up for that. So.
Yeah, and big championship points obviously for you and Sam as well. Nodaphone sticking together. It always seems to be you two together on the track. You're never very far away from each other, but it's been once again a very close championship so far, hasn't it? And you're right in the mix.
Yeah, it's been a bit up and down for some of them. I think at one point I was like second, then I sort of dropped down, had a couple of bad rounds, but I think the last two rounds have been decent. So I think hopefully that the teams should be possible if we can just keep doing what we're doing. Certainly helped that Jake and Duncan had a bit of a stinker for race two.
Yeah, it was a little bit bonkers at the end. I think people had a few incident points to use up, but that's just part of the game, I suppose. That's how it works. How are you feeling about the next round of the championship at Brands Hatch?
I think it's going to be even closer. Obviously, until qualifying, everything was very close. Then Jake found 4/10 from somewhere. But I think if we're that close around here and there's lots of people sort of within the 10th of each other, in a track like Brands, then it's just going to be it's going to be very tight. I think qualifying is going to make a big difference.
It definitely will do, mate. Well, we look forward to seeing how you get on there. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Thanks to Sam for being a good teammate, supporting me in that race. And then thanks for you guys for putting this on. It's been a lot of fun. Really enjoying season 4.
It's a pleasure, John. Absolute pleasure to have you. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll hopefully speak to you again soon.
See you next time.
Cheers. John Bailiff there getting a second place in that second race. And to be fair, Ed, while we did slate him a little bit in the end of the first race for that move, he deserved that points score in the second race with that second place, didn't he? Because he worked so hard for it, as I said.
Yeah, I mean, for all that was said, he was one of the drivers that managed to get through that without, obviously, the black flag. Didn't get involved in too many incidents in the second one and kept his nose clean, whereas a lot of other drivers kind of lost their heads a little bit, unfortunately. It was a shame that that second race ended on such a down note with so many drivers having to take to the pits, having those penalties applied to them. But that's just the way racing goes around Oulton Park. When you're desperate to make moves, inevitably that desperation can manifest in, I guess, less than productive ways that cause the races to, well, fall apart for a lot of drivers.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's the British Boring Car Championship at the end of the day. It's argy-bargy stuff, but it's great entertainment, and it's lovely to see that all the comments and everything that the guys have said, they've all enjoyed themselves thoroughly, so no hard feelings by the look of it. That is all we've got time for here tonight, though, unfortunately. Thanks once again to all the drivers. Thanks very much to you as well, Ed, and all the sponsors, Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes, and Orris Digital. Thanks for the drivers for putting on a hell of a show. It was great fun once again at Oulton Park. We've got a week off next week, so we'll be back in 2 weeks' time when we head to Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit and go into the final leg of the season. We then 1 week later go to Donington Park GP and then finish it all at Silverstone for the final season in the British Boring Car Championship. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you soon.
Dennis Melchett has done enough to win the last round of the championship and to win the title all in one fell swoop.
It's the British Boring Car Championship. Things are never chilled here. Honestly, the cars may be a bit dull, but wow, the racing certainly isn't.
Fastest lap of the race now, Ben Lambert.
Look at Andy Potts coming through the middle. He makes a little bit of contact. Dave Waldock is around and he's off on the grass.
Brayfield tries to go right round the outside at Druids. You do not do that and get away with it very often.
Takes the win in round 12. There's contact again. Fraser Smith and Dennis Melchett are off the circuit.